Most war movies aim to entertain, but a few go beyond explosions and hero speeches. They feel real, brutal, uncomfortable. These scenes don't glorify war, they drag you straight into it. These are the 9 most accurate battle scenes in war movies ever filmed. 1. Saving Private Ryan, Omaha Beach. The screen fades in, and within seconds, you're in hell. There's no hero music, no patriotic narration, just the deafening roar of waves and the rattle of machine guns. The landing crafts open, and young American soldiers, barely more than boys, are cut down before they can even step into the surf. In those first 25 minutes, Saving Private Ryan doesn't just show war, it forces you to feel it. Bullets slice through water, shredding flesh. Soldiers stagger ashore, limbs missing, faces frozen in panic. Some drown under the weight of their gear. Others scream for their mothers as their intestines spill into the sand. Medics desperately try to patch wounds that can't be saved. One man picks up his own severed arm, dazed, wandering aimlessly. Another cries out for help while holding in his guts, only to die moments later. Explosions ring in your ears, loud, sharp, and disorienting. The camera shakes violently, just like the hands of the men who lived it. Steven Spielberg didn't guess what it was like. He listened, he studied, he brought in real D-Day veterans as consultants. And what they described, the chaos, the noise, the paralyzing fear, all of it is here, in raw, unfiltered detail. Some veterans reportedly walked out of theaters in tears, not because the film was inaccurate, but because it was too real, too close, too true. This wasn't action, it was trauma, and it remains, to this day, the most hauntingly accurate depiction of the Normandy invasion ever captured on film. 2. Enemy at the Gates. Battle of Stalingrad. There's no glory here, no triumph, just a city in ruins, blanketed in smoke and despair. Enemy at the Gates throws you straight into one of the most horrifying battles of World War II Stalingrad, a place where survival wasn't measured in days, but in minutes. As Soviet soldiers arrive by boat across the Volga River, they're met with screams, gunfire, and explosions. Men are herded forward like cattle, many without rifles. 1 gun for every 2 men. The order is simple. When the man ahead of you dies, pick up his weapon and keep moving. The fear is suffocating. Enemy aircraft scream overhead. Artillery rains down on the shore. And the moment they reach land, machine guns open fire with surgical brutality. Soldiers fall in heaps. Bodies stack in trenches. Blood soaks the mud. There's no cover, nowhere to hide. And yet, retreat is not an option. Those who turn back are shot by their own commanders. It's not a choice between life or death. It's a choice between dying from a German bullet or a Soviet one. What makes this scene so devastating isn't just the violence, it's the complete collapse of hope. You see it in the wide-eyed terror of men too young to fight, in the shaking hands of those loading their first and probably last bullet. You feel the weight of a system that sees its soldiers as expendable. And you understand why Stalingrad was one of the bloodiest battles in human history. Every element, the uniforms, the tactics, the terrain, was built on historical records and survivor testimonies. The result? A scene that doesn't just depict war, it condemns it. Visceral, chaotic, and unforgettable. 3. We Were Soldiers. Battle of Ia Drang. This wasn't a war of trenches. It was fought in tall grass with helicopters whirring overhead and death coming from the trees. We Were Soldiers doesn't sugarcoat anything. Based on the memoir of Lieutenant General Hal Moore, the film follows American troops during their first major engagement in Vietnam. The tactics, the radio calls, the relentless waves of enemy fighters, all drawn from actual reports and transcripts. You feel the confusion, the heat, and the horrifying realization that you're surrounded and alone. The Longest Day. D-Day Invasion. It may be black and white, but this 1962 classic is anything but outdated. With the help of real Allied and German military advisors, The Longest Day reconstructs the D-Day landings with strategic precision. You see the scale of it all, the paratroopers in the night, the beach landings at dawn, the decisions made by generals on both sides. This wasn't just a movie. It was a detailed chronicle of one of the most pivotal days in modern history. 5. Das Boot. Submarine warfare in World War II. There's no battlefield here, no trenches, no explosions in the sky, just a steel tube beneath the ocean, and the slow, creeping dread of death. Das Boot isn't just a war film, it's a pressure chamber of fear, isolation, and claustrophobia. And it's one of the most brutally accurate depictions of submarine warfare ever filmed. You're not watching from a distance. You're trapped inside the U-boat with the crew. Every wall sweats. Every pipe drips. The air is thick, not just with grease and diesel, but with tension. Days turn into nights with no sunlight, no space, and no escape. Men sleep beside torpedoes. They eat beside the engines. And every creak of the hull could mean it's about to collapse. The real terror comes when the depth charges begin. Explosions rumble above, shaking the entire submarine like a toy in a fist. Lights flicker, valves burst, bolts shoot from the walls, and all the crew can do is sit silently, praying the next blast doesn't crush them. They can't fight back, they can't run. They can only hide, listening to enemy ships overhead, trying to stay quiet while their own hearts pound loud enough to be heard. Das Boot was based on the novel by Lothar Günther Buchheim, a German war correspondent who actually lived through these missions. Every detail is drawn from memory and logs. The suffocating heat, the food rotting in the corners, the silence so heavy it felt like a weapon. This wasn't the glamour of submarine movies with heroic captains and smooth missions. This was the truth, a world of fear, filth, and endurance, where men didn't dream of winning. They just hoped to make it home. And most of them didn't. 6. Letters from Iwo Jima, the Japanese side of the battle. For once, the story isn't told by the victors. Clint Eastwood's Letters from Iwo Jima shows the battle through the eyes of Japanese soldiers, many of whom knew they were going to die. The script was built on real letters from the island. The film captures the isolation, the hopelessness, and the sense of duty these men carried as they waited underground for the inevitable. It's a haunting, human look at the other side of the war. 7. 300. Battle of Thermopylae stylized? Yes. Historically grounded? Absolutely. Beneath the slow-motion action and dramatic visuals, 300 showcases real Spartan tactics, tight phalanx formations, use of terrain, and unbreakable discipline. The Spartans fought like a wall of steel, using every inch of the narrow pass at Thermopylae to hold back a massive Persian force. It's not just about brute strength, it's strategy, training, and a level of control that only warriors bred for battle could maintain. 8. Lone Survivor, Operation Red Wings. This wasn't a war zone, it was a mountain in Afghanistan, and 4 Navy SEALs were fighting to survive against overwhelming odds. Lone Survivor is based on the real account of Marcus Luttrell, the only man from his unit to make it out alive. The film doesn't shy away from the brutal reality. Bones break, blood pours, decisions are made in seconds, and the landscape offers no mercy. It's intense, personal, and as close to real-life combat as a movie can get. 9. The King, Battle of Agincourt Mud, rain, exhaustion, and a king who led from the front. The King captures the chaos of medieval warfare like never before. You don't see polished armor or choreographed duels. You see soldiers slipping in the mud, choking on blood, and swinging blindly in tight, suffocating spaces. The English, outnumbered and worn down, used the terrain and timing to break the French army, just as it happened in 1415. War isn't clean. It's not cinematic. It's confusion, terror, and survival. These scenes didn't just show that. They made us feel it. Which one do you think captured the truth of war best? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more like this, you know what to do.